Some men are born to lead, others are forged in the fire of rejection, sculpted by the weight of expectation, and hardened by the echo of 100,000 voices telling them they don't belong. Roman Reigns wasn't handed respect, he took it. Word by word, stare by stare, spear by spear. Today, we dive into the soul of a man who didn't just want to be acknowledged, he demanded it. Because sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't your fist. It's what you choose to say when the world is watching. Quote 1, "This is my yard now. Picture this moment, if you can bear it." The deadman, the conscience of WWE for 3 decades, is broken on the canvas. His hat, his coat, laid respectfully in the center of the ring like funeral flowers. The crowd isn't just quiet, they're grieving, they're watching the end of their childhood. And then Roman takes the microphone. 4 words. "This is my yard now." The silence that followed wasn't just shock, it was heartbreak. But here's what we missed in that moment of collective rage. Roman wasn't talking to us. He was talking to himself. Think about the pressure crushing down on his chest in that moment. Imagine being told your entire career that you're the chosen one, while 70,000 people scream that you're not their choice. Imagine carrying the weight of a company's future, knowing that every step you take is measured against legends who never had to prove themselves the way you do. "This is my yard now" wasn't arrogance, it was survival. It was a man drawing a line in the sand, not just for the audience, but for his own sanity. Because sometimes, when the world refuses to believe in you, you have to believe in yourself so loudly that it drowns out their doubt. That night, Roman didn't just defeat The Undertaker, he defeated the part of himself that needed their approval. And in wrestling, in life, that's the most dangerous opponent you can ever face. The boy who wanted to be loved died that night. The tribal chief was born. Quote 2, "I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy." 6 words. 6 words that captured the exhaustion of trying to fit into boxes that were never built for you. Roman stood in that ring, championship over his shoulder, and for the first time, really the first time, he stopped pretending. He stopped trying to be John Cena's smile or Stone Cold's rebellion. He stopped trying to be what WWE wanted him to be, what the fans demanded he become. "I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I'm the guy." Do you feel the weight in those words? The resignation mixed with defiance? That's the sound of a man who's tired of auditioning for a role he's already earned. We've all been there, haven't we? Standing in a room full of people who've already decided who you are before you've even spoken. Roman spent years trying to convince 20,000 people every Monday night that he deserved to be there, while carrying matches, selling tickets, and breaking his body for a company that needed him to succeed. This quote wasn't a heel turn or a face turn, it was a human turn. It was Roman finally saying what we all wish we could say when we're tired of being judged. "I'm not here to be your hero or your villain. I'm here to be myself, and myself is enough." Sometimes the most rebellious thing you can do is refuse to be anything other than exactly who you are. In that moment, Roman didn't just claim his position, he claimed his identity. And identity, once claimed, is the most powerful weapon in the world. Quote 3, "Acknowledge me." 2 words. 2 words that rewrote the entire landscape of professional wrestling. 2 words that turned Roman Reigns from the company's biggest problem into its most compelling character. Acknowledge me. But here's what made this different from every other wrestling catchphrase. It wasn't a request. It wasn't even a demand. It was an inevitability. Watch Roman's face when he says it. There's no desperation there, no pleading. There's the calm certainty of a man who has finally understood his own power. This wasn't the Roman who needed your approval. This was the Roman who realized your approval was irrelevant. The beauty and the terror of "Acknowledge me" was how it spread like a virus through WWE. First Jey Uso, his own cousin, forced to his knees. Then Jimmy. Then Paul Heyman, the wisest man in wrestling, bowing his head. One by one, legends fell in line. Edge, Daniel Bryan, John Cena himself. But the most powerful acknowledgement came from us, the audience. The same fans who booed him for years suddenly found themselves hanging on his every word. We didn't want to acknowledge him, but we couldn't look away. That's not just good heel work, that's psychological warfare. "Acknowledge me" became the most honest catchphrase in wrestling history, because it forced everyone to confront an uncomfortable truth. Roman Reigns had become exactly what WWE always said he was. The guy. The tribal chief. The head of the table. And the most beautiful part? He didn't need us to like it. He just needed us to acknowledge it was true. That's power. Real power. The kind that doesn't ask permission. Quote 4, I operate at a higher level. When Roman said I operate at a higher level, he wasn't cutting a promo. He was sharing his worldview. Think about the calm in his voice when he delivers this line. No shouting, no dramatics. Just a simple statement of fact, like saying the sky is blue or water is wet. That's what made it so chilling and so effective. This wasn't the insecurity of someone trying to convince themselves they're better. This was the confidence of someone who had proven it, night after night, for over 1,000 days. This was a man who had looked legends in the eye and watched them blink first. I operate at a higher level was Roman's way of explaining why he moved differently, why he carried himself with that particular breed of arrogance that only comes from being tested by fire and emerging unburned. While other wrestlers chased moments, Roman created eras. While others built careers, Roman built dynasties. But here's the thing that made this quote cut so deep. Part of us knew he was right. Part of us recognized that Roman had transcended being just another wrestler. He had become something else, a force of nature, a final boss, the measuring stick by which every other performer was judged. The scariest villains aren't the ones who think they're better than you. They're the ones who actually are. And when someone operates at a higher level than everyone around them, acknowledgement isn't a choice, it's mathematics. Quote 5. You're only as good as what you leave behind. In 2023, as cracks began to show in the bloodline, Roman Reigns said something that revealed the man behind the tribal chief mask. You're only as good as what you leave behind. This wasn't a threat. This wasn't a boast. This was vulnerability disguised as wisdom, a rare glimpse into the mind of a man who understood that power is temporary, but legacy is forever. Listen to how he says it. There's a weariness there, the exhaustion of someone who has carried the weight of leadership for so long that he's forgotten what his shoulders felt like without it. Roman wasn't just talking to Solo. He was talking to himself, processing the reality that even tribal chiefs don't rule forever. You're only as good as what you leave behind was Roman's way of confronting his own mortality, not physical but professional. He had spent years building an empire, bending everyone to his will, sitting at the head of the table. But empires fall, tables break, and when they do, what remains? This quote foreshadowed everything that followed: Jimmy's rebellion, Jay's departure, Solo's betrayal. It was Roman recognizing that the very thing that made him powerful, the need for control, was also the thing that would ultimately destroy him. Because the hardest part about being a king isn't taking the throne. It's knowing that someday, someone will take it from you. In that moment, Roman wasn't just the tribal chief. He was every leader who had ever felt the loneliness of command, every parent who wondered if they were raising their children right, every person who had ever built something beautiful and worried it wouldn't survive them. That's the quote that humanized the monster. That's the moment we realized that beneath all the power and dominance, Roman Reigns was just a man trying to build something that would outlast him. Roman Reigns didn't just collect championships, he collected moments. Moments when words became weapons, when silence became power, when acknowledgement became inevitable. These 5 quotes weren't just lines from a script. They were the evolution of a man who refused to be defined by anyone else's expectations. From "This is my yard now," the Declaration of Independence, to "You're only as good as what you leave behind," the wisdom of experience. Roman showed us that the most powerful transformations happen not with our bodies, but with our words. He taught us that sometimes you have to stop asking for respect and start demanding it. That sometimes the most honest thing you can be is exactly who you are, even if the world isn't ready for it. That acknowledgement isn't about being liked, it's about being undeniable. Roman Reigns didn't just want to be the guy in the main event. He wanted to be the guy who changed what the main event could be. He wanted to be the guy who proved that the most dangerous weapon in wrestling isn't a chair or a ladder or even a spear. It's the ability to make people believe, whether they want to or not. And in the end, isn't that what we all want? To be acknowledged not just for what we've accomplished, but for who we've chosen to become despite every obstacle trying to stop us? Roman Reigns didn't just demand acknowledgement, he earned it, word by word, stare by stare, truth by truth, because some men are born to lead, others choose to. Roman Reigns chose to.